Welcome everyone. We are a group from Edinburgh in Scotland. We have been enjoying the ModPo webcasts and been involved in all the learning about American poetry, and we thought as a kind of response to that we would like to do a Scottish version of ModPo, and we've picked a Scottish poet, a very important Scottish poet, and we're going to take one of his poems and look at it tonight. My name's Sean Donnelly, and we've got a group of people here today.
I'm Nancy Somerville.
I'm Wurrin.
Okay.
And
we've got, this is reference to the poem. It's a kind of special Scottish brew, and we'll be drinking that tonight. It's usually a bit more abstemious and ModPo, but this is Edinburgh. Cheers.
Cheers, slant. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
So the poem tonight is Tom Leonard's Just to Let You Know, which is a reference to William Carlos Williams. This is just to say. So Nancy, would you like to read it out?
Mm-hmm. And Tom Leonard says it is from the American of Carlos Williams. Just to let you know, I've drank the speshlz that were in the fridge and that you were probably hodn back for the party. Alright, they were great, that strong, that cawld.
So, what do we think of that then?
I suppose when you first read it, you think it's funny because you're hearing it in your own language, and well, for me as a Glaswegian Scot, so it's just good to hear that, and it's the way that it's written is in sort of phonetical spelling of Glaswegian Scots.
Yeah, I think it's clear that Tom Leonard is interested in the sounds of the words. And I think there's, so that is spelt fridge like F-R-I-J, and that, instead of that is T-H-I-T. And that's an effort to get language as it's heard and about the sounds and the different cadences of the words and all that. Because I noticed that it's from, the poem has got, this is just to let you know, and it's from the American of Carlos Williams, so it's not from
the
poem, it's from the American. It's saying that his language is an American English, and this is a Scottish English.
That's right, yeah.
I think that's what I like about it too, the fact that the language and the culture as well is central in the poem. So Tom Leonard puts it at the centre, like God's Castle as well, but it's quite unusual, and it's kind of not like the usual canon poetry you can get at university, so it's kind of putting it right in the centre and making that the main topic.
And when was this written? Was it the 70s?
It was the 70s,
and
yeah.
I think it's in reference to when we were all growing up, you were told to speak proper English, so that any time you spoke any words that were Scots or were your own language, as it was you'd be corrected and told that was wrong and bad. And this is an affirmation of our language and saying we can talk the way we talk, and it has the same power and strength and importance as ordinary or mainstream English.
Things are different in school now, but it's still not right. You still get kids getting pulled up for saying aye, but I think it has changed a lot for the better. Yeah. And also, just what you were saying about sound, Tom Leonard wrote a poem, I think it was called In the Beginning Was the Word, and he sort of takes that phrase and condenses it to the sound of In the Beginning Was the Word, and then he makes it In the Beginning Was the Sound, because he's making that point that sound has to come before the word.
And that's
well, that's what I think. I wouldn't like to misrepresent. That's what I think he's saying. And it's also, the first time you come across this, it's actually quite hard to read, because you're not used to seeing words written down like that, just the way that they're said, rather than the sort of standard English spelling, even if that's not the way you would say it.
Yeah. But I remember reading, first time I read poems like this, finding it difficult, and then realising that you could just say it the way you talked it, you know, and it became easy, and it just, you know, I drank the speshlz that were in the fridge, and you can just see the words, it's almost like it's getting at how you talk, but you're always kind of, the way you talk is never represented on a page, because it's always a kind of formalised, proper, you know, way, and this is, it's almost reaffirming of how you talk, and I think that's, but what I'd be interested in is, you know, that's a general thing about his poem and about the words and all that, but why William Carlos Williams, and why, you know, this poem? Do you think that's significant? I'm taking the owl role here and asking the questions.
Oh no, you're quite right. It's a hard one, I think.
Because William Carlos Williams one is it does seem about, you know, about he's taken, you know, it's about taking the plums from the icebox. So it's kind, and I suppose the plums and icebox, it all seems kind of, for me, it seems kind of set and stable and kind of almost, I don't know, it's almost like a, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's like a, it's less fluid. I think this is a more a fluid poem. I don't know if, if that makes sense, but and it's all about, I think it's about I'm taking something and saying he's sorry, but he's not really sorry, and it's
it might be more fluid because it's in our language and you can understand it, and it's also the cultural thing, and you know, it's kind of special and something we can relate to, and that kind of thing as well. I mean, it makes me think about imagining the kind of special being in the fridge, and it's not been in the fridge, it's been drank, but it's like a hot summer's day, which doesn't happen very often in Scotland, and you go to the fridge and there's no cold can of beer,
and you'd been really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and like, I just imagine like the sound of it opening and the seeing that cawld and that strong, it's just such a good feeling. Sit down to a cold beer.
And it is, as you said before, Lorraine, it is cultural, because I would assume in William Carlos Williams that his culture, plums would be something that you'd get fresh, and you know, that they'd eat them regularly. Whereas here, there's not a lot of fruit grows other than
there's not many plum groves in Glasgow.
But I have to say, drink is part of the culture, so that would be. And
there is, I suppose, there is a class element in Tom Leonard, and he's clear about that he's working class. It's about a working class language, not just a Scottish language. It's Scottish working class language, and it's the idea of the speshlz, canny special that they've been saving for a party, and he's taken it, and it's, you know, it was that strong and that cawld. What I noticed as well is in William Carlos Williams, he says, "Forgive me," and Tom Leonard goes, "Alright." He doesn't ask for forgiveness, but he kind of goes, "Alright," as if to say,
is that alright?
It's almost, say it alright.
Like, is that alright?
It's like a short way of saying, is
but
that
it's almost less kind of, because when Carlos Williams says, "Forgive me," he's not asking for forgiveness. It's almost like Tom Leonard kind of is a wee bit.
I don't know.
You don't,
maybe you're pushing it.
I think he's stating it. I think he's sort of saying, "Alright," because alright's kind of sometimes just when we're talking, sometimes even if we're just chatting, or you say, "How you doing? You alright?" Or it's kind of word that's used quite a lot.
Multi-purpose word.
Or it could just be certain, alright. It's just.
I mean, I do tend to think there's a question mark at the end.
Do you? But that's another thing, there's no punctuation through it at all, there's no commas or anything, is there?
So that's the same as William Carlos Williams. And also there are 3-4 line stanzas as well. Isn't that right? Yeah. So it sort of follows the structure of the William Carlos Williams poem.
The form as well, is that just kind of pretty much as well, isn't it? I wondered about the H and that, because that's spelled THAHT as well. Is this because you just...
Is it
Maybe
maybe
it's
it's
just
an
the way you
open
say
vowel?
ah,
I think
aye.
it's to emphasise that
Uh-huh.
sound in the middle.
But it's
Ah,
also it's a sort of
strong.
it's that strong,
Yeah.
that cawld.
Yeah.
No, it's not just that. It's not just a.
Yeah.
It's a short vowel, I think.
And I suppose that is meant to be an emphasis. Say it's
Mhm.
very strong.
Yeah,
Very cold.
uh-huh.
That strong.
Mhm.
And it,
Like this.
ah,
Just give me a second.
what is saying this
Well,
being
that's
the-
not a reference to it, but I did think
What's that?
this, Emma Dickinson.
All right.
Yeah,
Ah, right.
I-
Yes.
saying
But I
this
think
is the
that's
most
Uh-huh.
important word
Mhm.
apparently.
Uh-huh. Well, I suppose because William Carlos Williams' poem, it's this is just to say, so it's saying this is this is this is the
Ah.
poem. But what about Tom Leonard? What's he saying?
Well,
here?
he's not
saying
because this is just that's why I think it's
just to let
Just
you
to
know.
let you know.
But just to like, this is just to say is maybe just saying I'm going to announce something.
Uh-huh.
But just to let you know is saying I'm going to tell you something.
Uh-huh.
There's more a sense of speaking to someone than maybe this is just to say is like
Mhm.
a pronouncement rather than just to let you know is more intimate, more
Uh-huh.
personal.
Mhm. Just let you know. But I mean, it could still be a note in the fridge.
Yeah.
It
It's
could
Yeah.
be.
still-
Yeah, it's
Well, it's
chatty
in
and
a fridge, if
Ah.
definitely. I've drank the specials.
I don't know why, but like, even seeing that the fridge like that makes the fridge feel colder to me.
Does
Oh, that's right. It's like, I know what you mean. It's strange because you're so used to just seeing the word, but seeing it like
Yeah.
that makes it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And should we say something about the specials as well? I
Yeah,
suppose
yeah.
we did a wee bit.
Because
It's spelled.
it's specials with Z at the end.
Aye. I know, like, because there was, I think at that time there was tartan special.
Yeah. It's a kind of cultural thing, isn't it? We're
Uh-huh.
Scottish cultural working
Yeah.
class thing. We're getting so you're getting specials in for the parties,
Mhm.
getting the drink together, you're getting folk round. And he's put an idea of a party that's coming because it's
Aye.
for the party.
Mhm.
It's like the party that's coming. It's something that's been anticipated by them,
Mhm.
and he's taken all this. He's like ruined it.
And you sort of imagine that his wife, if you sort of compare the poems in that way, that she's been getting stuff in for the party. And that means she'll need to go the messages again. She'll need to go and get more.
That's true, actually. But it made me think maybe a bit about New Year as well, and that whole thing
Right.
about all the preparation. It did go into New Year for folk coming in
Hogmanay
and
being
food and getting
huge thing.
make sure
Mhm.
the fridge is packed full and
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's not just one special, it's this special, so it's all it's
I've drank specials.
That's right.
So it
'cause
could be
it's
half a dozen
plural.
cans, but we
Yeah.
could have gotten some
Aye.
drunk from
Yeah.
it.
Aye.
And maybe there's that thing that you're not going to, with the plums it's just enjoying a kind of moment and it's something special and it's
Mhm.
cold and that. But we're
Mhm.
maybe drinking the specials, there's a sense it could be
Uh-huh.
somebody who's on the couch and doesn't even
Aye.
move and drink all the
Yeah.
specials and
Yeah.
she's doing all the work and sorting
Mhm.
things and he's just taken and not given anything. And he doesn't say, forgive me, he says alright.
Mhm.
See, I've just turned around from the opposite of what I said. I said it's more forgiving now. I think it's harder. It's
Aye.
actually harsher
Because I'm
than.
I'm thinking now, this is the day of the party.
Yeah.
And he's drank the
Yeah.
specials and he's lying on the couch,
Yeah.
Half drunk.
or passed out,
Yeah,
and she's having to get ready for the party,
yeah,
and he's going to be a hindrance, no help.
Yeah.
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 But I think overall it is a kind of, is it an attempt for Tom Leonard to say that we can use our language in the way that it's spoken and it can be up there with what's probably regarded as one of the the foremost poems of the 20th century with Carlos Williams and it's about Scotland, a wee country that's been kind of not been allowed to have its own voice, asserting itself, and maybe it's a start of whole new
Mhm.
Scottish poetry that's now
Yeah.
thriving.
I think it's also a lot of. I think I'm right in saying a lot of Scots poets who are still writing at this time, are quite international in outlook,
Yeah.
and there's a sort of feeling that everything should be relating to England and London, but in actual fact, a lot of our artists, they look more to international and international movements, and what we were talking about earlier was Tom Leonard being interested in the international sound. The sound movement.
Yeah.
So I think that's it that I don't know, again I don't want to speak for Tom Leonard, but he maybe was more drawn to the American poets than maybe to other other British poets, I don't know.
Whereas it's
I've probably said something that's completely wrong.
no, well, I think because there could be that there's the fact that you've had maybe a kind of set English way of doing things in London being the centre of everything. This isn't an assertion of against that. It's not looking to London. It's speaking English the way working class Scottish people speak it, and it's looking to America for inspiration. And even
no, I was just going to say as well that maybe it's not so much London and England as you said, that class thing, that a lot of the sort of establishment poems were written in that tone, that register that's a bit more upper class.
Oxford, educated,
and it feels
working
quite
class
removed,
voice.
doesn't it, from your kind of your own experience. It's making me thinking about another poem that Tom Leonard's done, the one about reading out the news.
This is the 6 o'clock news.
The news and this kind of voice, you wouldn't believe me. So that whole thing about believing what's the truth as well, and this can be the truth in Scottish language, how we speak it and how we write it.
Of course.
Because kind of like the Queen's English has the authority, and that's what people who speak it. They're the ones in power. That when they speak, they're telling the truth. When we speak, we're kind of
a bit suspect.
a bit suspect.
And
it's playing with that, kind of certain that it's how we talk. So how we talk should be celebrated.
I've just noticed something else that I hadn't seen before actually. See the second last line where William Carlos Williams talks about the plums and he says so sweet, but Tom Leonard says about the speshlz that's strong. I mean, I suppose you could say a drink was sweet, but there's a different connotation there, isn't there? And it's maybe again it's that sort of the Glasgow or the Scottish culture about strong drink, and that you need to be able to hold your drink.
Being a man, it's being about being strong.
And it's about you're strong if you can. The more strong drink you can hold, the stronger you are. Which I'm not condoning, but it's there. So again, that's another sort of cultural reference, I would say actually. And it's a good poem.
That's a good poem from a great poet.
Yes, absolutely.
Tom Leonard, we love you.
And do we want to explain our t-shirts then?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've all got the same t-shirt. Does somebody want to read it?
Right, on you go.
You read it.
This is just to say, ModPo 12 is pure dead brilliant, by the way.
Pure dead brilliant is a kind of Scottish phrase, and so is by the way.
Aye, pure dead brilliant. And this is just to say it's a combination of the two poem titles. A sort of amalgam. Right. Okay.
Here's to ModPo.
Cheers!
Cheers!
And all the ModPo people.